I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little cranky. Mariners lose 3-2. They fall to 57 and 53 on the season. They lose 2 of 3 to the Boston Red Sox. Let's go over the scoring plays. First inning, George Kirby uncorks a wild pitch that scores Yoshida. 1-0 Boston at the end of 1. Mariners tie the game in the 4th on a Dylan Moore single, and Josh Rojas unties the game with a homer to center in the 5th. 2-1 Mariners. But in the 6th inning, Danny Jansen singles to right to score Dom Smith. And in the 10th, Rafi Devers doubles to right to score Tyler O'Neill. Actually, I don't think it was a double to right. It was like right, left, center. Doesn't matter. That's what ESPN says. They get this stuff wrong all the time. I'm too angry to really care about the direction of where that hit was. Your positives. Nice game from Josh Rojas. Dylan Moore gets the big RBI single. Luke Raley stole a couple of bags, gets on twice. Justin Turner got a couple of hits, but had one really bad at bat that we'll talk about. In the bullpen, I thought Austin Voth pitched really well. I thought Gregory Santos was pitching well. We'll talk about that too. Colin Snyder did an excellent job getting that big strikeout on Tyler O'Neill, coming in a very high leverage situation. Very nice job by him. Only one bullpen guy pitched not great, and I don't really think it's his fault. Go to simplyseattle.com. Use code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWHOP15, and it will save you 15% off your order. A link in the description. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. I'm a little too angry to everything. Now, look, here's one caveat I have to issue here. I'm exhausted. I worked 5 to 1 yesterday, writing up probably 35 or so trades, give or take. Then I did a 2-hour chat. Thank you guys for coming, but that is technically work. And then I had to do a video on the JT Chargois trade. Then I had to deal with some other stuff. I had to start writing an article. I'm exhausted. I am flat out exhausted. So my mood after this game undeniably is amplified by the fact that I am just mentally and physically worn the you-know-what out. Having said that, this is as mad as I've been about a Seattle Mariner loss in a long time because they didn't play well and they managed the game as poorly as possible. I didn't mention George Kirby in the positives. I guess you can't really mention him in the negatives, but if I had to pick one, it'd be in the negatives. George Kirby wasn't good today. The results are fine. 5 1/3 innings of 2-run baseball. If you watched the game, there's no way you came away impressed with George Kirby tonight. One of the worst starts I've seen him have in a long time. Now, that is whatever the opposite of damning with faint praise is. Sorry, Pioneer Elementary. Whatever the opposite of that is, look, he's been really, really good. I have higher expectations. He wasn't good today. One of the worst starts he's made in a long time, and that's not an understatement at all. Or maybe it is an understatement. I don't know. I'm so tired. But I did not come away impressed with George Kirby on a night where he should have shut the Boston Red Sox down. He did not. He did not. I was not impressed with George Kirby tonight. And my mood may be affected by the fact that I want to go sleep for 72 hours, but not great. Not great. Also, Gregory Santos pitched as well as I've seen him pitch as a Mariner. That is darning with faint praise a little bit, just because it's such a small sample and he hasn't looked great. And he leaves with a pretty clear knee injury, and I'm guessing an injured list stint is coming soon. That sucks. And it makes the trade for JT Chargois all the more important. It was an important move to make anyway. Well, it became a necessity today. Absolute necessity. So, sure glad they got him because they are going to be without Gregory Santos. I'll be stunned if Gregory Santos isn't headed to the IL. Hope I'm wrong. Don't want to root for injuries, and the Mariners could use him. Offensively, not a good game from Randy Arozarena. Had a big situation. You get first and third. Nobody out. And you pop up pretty meekly. Or maybe it was first. There was first and third, and he didn't come through. He did have a really good at bat in the ninth. I will give him credit for that. He did get on twice. He got hit by a pitch, and then he drew a really nice walk. I expect more. I expect more than what Cal Raleigh gave them. I expect more than what Justin Turner gave him, because with bases loaded, 2 outs, a very meek pop-up. And then a strikeout with a run. Well, we'll talk about the 10th inning. The bottom of the order still looks pathetic. I feel so much more confident about the top. And of course, Victor Robles is not available today too. But the bottom still stinks. Stinks. And in particular, Mitch Garver is useless. I don't like calling out an individual player, but we're going to do it in this case. Mitch Garver sucks. Right now, at this current moment, Mitch Garver is objectively a terrible baseball player. A terrible baseball player. A player who has had a lot of success elsewhere. A ton of success. Wouldn't shock me if he had success starting in 2025. Anything you get from Mitch Garver is an absolute blessing from this point, because he's garbage right now. He is a useless baseball player. He can't run. He's not a good defensive backstop. He's good enough to justify keeping on the roster. But let's be honest, we know why Mitch Garver's on this roster right now. He's awful. He's an awful baseball player. He cannot play more than once a week right now. Zero reason. Against a lefty, I guess he can come play. When George Kirby's on the mound, if that's who he's comfortable throwing to, great, fine. Everything else, Mitch Garver needs to sit his you-know-what on the bench and just look, because he stinks. Do you remember when Mitch Garver was talking about just having bad luck with line drives? Let's look at that Baseball Savant page of Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver, the guy who just told everybody, it's just bad luck. I can't see line drives. Just go at hitters. I can't keep seeing that. 180 expected batting average. Line drives at who? Are you counting batting practice? Expected weighted on base average of 290. A strong batting average. A really crappy expected weighted on base average. You know, the approach, good for you that you draw a ton of walks, and good for you that you don't swing at pitches outside of the strike zone. What the hell do you do outside of that? You provide no value on the bases. You are not a great defensive catcher. You provide no power. Expected slugging percentage of 342. And if not for that quote about being unlucky, I would probably not be as upset as I am right now. But you did make that quote. And you stink. Unfathomably bad year. Couldn't have seen it coming. But oof, ouch, yuck. That at bat in the 10th inning is the worst at bat by a Seattle Mariner in 2024, and it's not close. You've got the bases loaded. You have a free pass to Dylan Moore. The batter before that was hit. And you swing at the first gosh dang pitch. Talk about great approach. What a great approach to swing at the first pitch in that situation and ground out as meekly as possible. He stinks. He cannot be a player for you. Fake an injury list thing. I'm getting emotional. I try not to. This is not great baseball analysis right now, but I'm telling you right now, my disdain for Mitch Garver is incredibly high. Hope he's well. Hope he has a great flight home. And I hope I don't see him in the lineup for a very long time. You know, that 10th inning, excuse me. You got Big Dumper leading off because He's unable to get the job done in the ninth. Now, it was a good play by Dom Smith, but okay. Got a runner on second base. Wild pitch, gets big dumper to third. And look, Justin Turner flails. Horrible at bat. Horrible. Leo Rivas, who had come in for Jorge Polanco, grounds out as meekly as flippin' possible. I know people are asking for Leo Rivas to play based on a very small sample of stats and based on his Tacoma numbers. He's not a good hitter. He's a really bad hitter. He's a really, 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 really bad hitter. Should not be an everyday player. Barely should be a utility guy. So they get out. There's 2 outs. Luke Raley gets plunked. Dylan Moore draws the walk, and then Mitch Garver grounds out in that absolutely atrocious at bat. And then it's the 10th inning, and you bring in Jonathan Diaz to pitch. And guys, Jonathan Diaz hasn't been here very long, and I don't want to be too harsh on him. Bringing him in to pitch to Rafi Devers is basically saying this game isn't that important to us. Yes, I would have preferred Trent Thornton in that situation. And I sure as you know what, oh my gosh, I'm doing a good job editing myself for the most part. Would prefer just putting Rafi Devers on first base in that situation. You set up a double play. That runner means nothing. And also, you're not pitching to Rafi gosh dang Devers. I thought this was one of the worst games that Scott Service has managed. And I think I've made it abundantly clear that while I have been critical of him at times, I think Scott Service, for the most part, gets a bad rap and has done a pretty darn good job. He didn't do a good job today. Now, do I know that's his decision? I don't. But I don't get it. Why would you pitch to Rafi Devers in that situation? If Andres Munoz and Jimmy Garcia are truly unavailable, I'm 99% sure I saw Andres Munoz getting hot. You have an off day tomorrow. So congratulations. You didn't have to use them. And oh, by the way, the reason they're probably not available is because you wasted them on Sunday. Absolute waste. A terrible job by Scott Service. A terrible job. I will give him credit where credit is due, and I will criticize him when he deserves criticizing. Tonight, he deserves all of the admonishment possible. He did an awful job. Either he did an awful job or the people ahead of him made him do an awful job. Unacceptable. Unacceptable to lose this game. 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position, by the way. Absolute crap. You know, they get a 4-2 road trip. Whoopee frickin' do. 3 of those wins are against a single A freaking baseball team. Gosh, I'm glad they have a day off tomorrow. I have no desire to watch this team after today. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the yelling. I'm sorry for the almost swears. I'm sorry that this is probably horrible analysis, but I'm just letting you know how I feel at this moment. I'm ticked off. Mitch Garver ban. Yuck.